What's going on, people? How you doing? This is TK coming at you. Just want to hit you guys with some general information about general Bitcoin participation, because honestly I try to come at you from a advisory standpoint and just make suggestions in where you should position yourself in the future. All of us are participating in Bitcoin from an investment standpoint, and the role in which Bitcoin plays in the future is a book with blank pages. In other words, we're at the infancy stages of a new technology that's only 9 years old. So where it will go and the possibilities are endless. It's just that early pioneers are always rewarded the most whenever it comes to a new technology. So understanding that should influence your positioning decisions in terms of how you participate today. So Bitcoin interaction typically involves buy and hold in the conversion of one currency to another currency. You know, the currency parity is what a lot of us are familiar with in Forex. And when it comes to Bitcoin, it follows the same rules. So there's a question of parity based on the dollar and how a lot of currencies are losing to the war going on right now because of devaluation. Now, we don't know the answer to that question. The only thing you can say is that based on existing market conditions, Bitcoin in hyperinflated markets has survived and become a alternative band-aid for the local currency going to the toilet. So time will answer the question of Bitcoin survivability in relation to other currency parity. But the sky is falling mentality should not be a reason that you stay on the sidelines or have an excuse, use that as an excuse to say that it's not worth participating in. Because yes, the future is a little bit uncertain, and Bitcoin's role in that future can't be accurately foretold. But participation in the Bitcoin community now should extend to the right people in the right circle of influence, beyond the point of just buy and hold. My personal interaction in Bitcoin is a multi-step process. I buy, I hold for a short period of time, then I transfer to a high-frequency trading platform that specializes in micro trades and arbitrage. And then I take the returns from micro trades and arbitrage, and I circular reinvest into similar opportunities, but from different platforms. So I have 3 different companies that I use in high frequency trading, and then I have 2 or 3 different companies that I have for Bitcoin options trading. So together it acts as a diverse portfolio that really concentrates my Bitcoin investments, or I should say concentrates my Bitcoin investments returns. Now, that's just what I suggest. I suggest that other people convert one form of currency to another and then get into Bitcoin high-frequency trading and arbitrage and utilize these platforms to multiply your Bitcoin, or simply have a salary in Bitcoin through trading. That makes sense to me because it's based on individual effort in terms of my investment, and it's also based on market conditions in terms of my return on investment. That does not include participation from others. My return on investment is not dependent on you joining me in this investment. So don't misunderstand the opportunity to refer others into arbitrage, micro trading, and options trading. It's much like the stock market. You know, I could find a nice stock that's not in a bubble and producing dividends, and I could choose to tell someone else. But my ability to get someone else involved in that dividend stock has nothing to do with my personal investment return, and that's a distinction that greatly applies to Bitcoin. So the fundamentals are investing in Bitcoin as opposed to participating in Bitcoin by converting currency and then holding it. Okay? You go a step further from holding Bitcoin to actually investing Bitcoin in various high-frequency trading and options trading platforms. Now, I act as an intermediary or a guide in your participation because I'm taking the time to share multiple platforms that allow you to receive return on investment because of arbitrage, because of high-frequency trading, and also because of options trading. Now, if you choose to ignore that information that I'm sharing, that's your business. It doesn't affect, again, my return on investment or my personal decision to position myself within having salary or returns paid to me in Bitcoin. So I'm hopefully providing some clarity in terms of what this is. Now, the last part of electronic money or digital assets would be security, because of course an individual wallet can be targeted, but the distinction point with electronic currency is the assets only exist within the recording application or the ledger. What you are given is a key to access what's been recorded that you own on the ledger. So understand that about Bitcoin. All of the Bitcoins that exist within the ledger, and your personal access keys allow you to either move, transmit, or manipulate, or I should say interface with that recording. Okay, so that's the distinction here. The distinction here is key access to what's been recorded. Essentially, that's what Bitcoin is you accessing what's been recorded and associated with you, okay, or associated with an ID that can be pegged to you, but is technically pegged to the keys in relation to that recording. So that's essentially what a Bitcoin wallet is. A Bitcoin wallet is private access keys to what's been recorded on a digital ledger. So you have to guard your keys, and the most effective way to do that is offline storage of not only your private key, but the relationship to that private key in regards to the ledger. So you can always print your hardware wallet and then put your hardware printed wallet in a physical fireproof safe, or carry your hardware wallet with you in a isolated device, or put your keys to a private wallet in a safe place separate from your electronic wallet. So these are just suggestions. Like I say, I'm trying to give you guys an interface to Bitcoin. It will play a major role within the future because of the fact that it's borderless, it has minimal fees, and it's a form of currency that appreciates over time based on the gold-like qualities and limited supply and fixed issuance. It's kind of like an application, right? An application for money that exists worldwide. And the fact that no one owns and everyone who participates in becomes empowered with their participation. So hopefully this video helps someone. As I said, my role is an advisor to participation in Bitcoin, and I'm basing it on what I've done for myself and just explaining to you that you have the same options. You can get into this from an investment standpoint, and then you can grow to the point where your returns from your investments empower you to the point of having an alternative means of currency to spend in consumer interaction. And that's a result of your participation, okay? I make $300 a day in Bitcoin, and that result is me having the power to spend it within stores if I choose to, simply by putting it on my BitPay debit card for Bitcoin, and then using that card to interface with a store at my leisure. Okay, and I'm elevating to the point where I'm able to extend that now to family members, where I can set up an example being the same thing for my girlfriend, give her a BitPay debit card, and then set her up with interface to the investment platform so that the money that gets deposited on her Bitcoin debit card comes from the return on investment that I plug her into, and one thing feeds the next thing. So this gives you the power to teach someone how to fish and sort of open doors to them that currently is closed, you know. And that's the part that I aggressively try to convey, but I think sometimes you guys miss it, and 90% of the time you guys choose to ignore it. But this is not meant to change the world. This is only meant to affect a small few in the right circle of influence and the right place at the right time, of course, with the right amount of money and time invested.